Good morning, afternoon, or evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mikhail, and welcome to yet another Misfits Racing League broadcast. We are here with the Americas division for the Spanish Grand Prix. Joining me, as always, my fellow countrymen Stars. How you doing today, mate?
Okay, great to be here, mate. Doing really well. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's certainly shaping up to be a real thriller. So today we are going to be racing around the Circuit de Barcelona de Catalunya on your screens now. 4.6 kilometers, 16 turns, a very, very fast circuit, a very, very famous circuit, and one that can definitely pose a challenge to some of the drivers, A-Stars.
Yeah, exactly right, Mikhail. It's going to be a very tricky track here. Very easy to invalidate. I expect to see a few pens from the drivers out there today.
Yes, track limits certainly one to cause a few issues. So we'll just have a look at where we've come from and where we are going in the coming weeks. So we have been to Australia, Bahrain, Vietnam, China, and the Netherlands already this season. We're now up to round number 6 for the Spanish Grand Prix. And then next week we'll be heading to the dreaded streets of Monte Carlo. And I've already heard from some of the drivers they are dreading that one, but some are actually quite looking forward to it as well. Then we will be going to the Baku City Circuit in the heart of Azerbaijan for round number 8, and then heading to the Great White North of Canada for the ninth round of this one, and then France for round number 10, and then we get fully into the European section with Austria, Britain, Hungary, Belgium, and Italy. And then we head over to Asia with Singapore, Russia, and Japan. Then the USA, Mexico, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi to finish things off. And we'll just have a quick look at the standings as we are just trying to get a few of the last remaining drivers in. So currently, Becky B leading us away in the drivers' standings with 91 points, and then S King closely behind him with 87 points, who unfortunately will not be in this race. So very, very unfortunate, but definitely an opportunity for Becky B to extend that gap as much as possible. Rhapsody currently sitting in that third place slot with 58 points for the Mercedes squad. And then BTFU in the second AlphaTauri car will round off the top 4 with 45 points. Then we have Aphrodite, Yamamoto, Cedrus, Arnhel, Maxime B, and Zamus rounding off the top 10 in the standings. And then Cjos, Tom Hawk TV, Larkino, Mexana, Jay Fasai, and Cherry rounding off the points scorers. And then Cappy, Gauzier, Stryfium, and the Holtzman yet to score any points in this championship. Looking at the Constructors' Championship, AlphaTauri leading the way with 132 points, only 5 points ahead of the Williams duo of Becky B and Yamamoto, currently sitting in a very comfortable second place with a healthy 49-point gap back to the Renault squad. So those two definitely in a duel for that Constructors' Championship. But it is shaping up to be quite the thriller, Stars. And before we get into this one, just want to have a quick thank you to our partners, Next Level Racing. If you're looking to get into sim racing and have the most realistic experience possible for a very, very affordable price, exclamation mark NLR in the chat. They have some great sim rigs regardless of your price point. And with that, Stars, I do believe we are almost ready to get things underway.
Yes, indeed, Mikhail. We're just waiting on one spectator join, and then we'll be good to go. But yeah, in that championship fight that you were mentioning before, Becky B obviously did miss a race earlier on in the season, and S King obviously closed that gap out. But I actually do believe he actually retook the lead of the championship by about 1 or 2 points. Now moving forward, it's S King's turn to miss a race. Becky B's here. Is he going to extend? He's obviously been doing very well recently, qualifying, race, very confident. So we're going to have to wait and see, I guess. But this is his chance to really, cement his position at this early mark in the championship.
Yeah, it definitely is going to be a important one moving forward. Of course, yeah, those two in a very, very tight title battle, as it were. And we are starting to get a little bit further into the season. We were saying in the weeks prior that it's just the start of the season. You don't need to worry too much. But this is the sixth round, Stars, so we are starting to make our way through. The drivers are now sort of have a rough idea of the pecking order, know who's going to be fighting for those race wins and who's in that sort of midfield area in the in the middle for those points, and those who are maybe struggling a bit more than others to consistently score. But yeah, it should be a really, really fun one. If you happen to catch the Tier 3 race that took place a few hours ago, my goodness, that was quite the thriller, and hopefully we'll be seeing something similar today. It was a wet qualifying for that one, and it definitely shook up the order a little bit. And regardless of how the races might go in real life, there was still quite a lot of overtaking, quite a lot of close wheel-to-wheel battles. So hopefully we'll be seeing some of that here tonight.
Definitely think so. Obviously, being the only America's grid in the MRL system this season, these drivers obviously, there's a lot on the line. They want the bragging rights, and so we've seen in the last couple of races some close, hard battling. There is a bit of a pace gap, like you did mention, Macau, in terms of we have that high echelon group of drivers at the top, and then you've got that midfield battle, and then obviously the battle towards the end of the pack as well. But between there could be only 5 drivers in each pack, if that makes sense. So I'm hoping to see our top runners perform today as normal. It should be a good one. Obviously, very difficult track to overtake. Track position is key here. We all know that. So yeah, these top runners, obviously the likes of Becky B, got um, Arnhell, Rhapsody, C. Joss gets in there, Yama gets in there, so those type of drivers should be battling quite hard today.
Well, it looks like we have clear skies ahead for qualifying, and I do believe we have the one reserve in Vixtify making his MRL debut in that second AlphaTauri seat, filling in for, of course, the Chilean S-King, who unfortunately cannot be with us. But aside from that, we have 19 full-time drivers on this grid, so very much looking forward to this one. Clear skies for qualifying, so these guys will be going flat out, as it were, and I'm already seeing quite a lot of cars leaving the pit lane, and I do believe it is the Williams duo being first out there on the track, and leading them away is the championship leader, Becky B, I believe.
Is indeed. Wants to get out there, wants to set his first flying lap, get it underway, get that banker in. Obviously, get all the nerves out. I think round here, Macau, you're gonna want to do probably a 90 to 95% first lap here. Just put something on the board. You don't want to do anything too crazy. You don't want to invalidate your first run, because then that puts pressure on you towards the end of the session. Obviously, the other thing that we haven't spoken about yet is strategy. This track, very difficult to make soft hard work. Safety cars can obviously make that a lot easier. But normally I do believe the medium to hard strat is the most viable. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That does seem to be the general consensus around the Discord, that the medium to hard is the preferred strategy. So I don't know how much a lot of these drivers will be pushing on these soft compound tires, but I also do know that a lot of drivers, including Becky B himself, I believe, has been working on that tire management to make the softer hard work and just have that track position early, because it can be reasonably challenging to overtake, especially if the pace between yourself and your rivals is so tight. But we will now ride on board. We'll actually go on board with Arnhell, who actually overtook Becky B on the outlap to set the first lap of the session. So through turns 1 and 2 he goes, keeping it nice and tidy. Then turn 3, this long, fast, flat-out right-hander, keeping it as tight to the right-hand side as you can, bringing it back over to the left, braking just around the Pirelli bridge for turn number 4 as we head into the second sector of the lap, and then just trying to keep the car as stable as you can. Ooh, massive lock up there on the front left heading into turn 5, and then straight on the power once again through the slight left-hand kink of 6, and then turn 7 and 8. Quite a challenging complex of corners, but one that is very important to get right into this fast, flat-out right-hander of turn 9. We see Arnhell lifting a little bit, just trying to make sure that he keeps the car under control, spotting the 100 meters on the right-hand side for turn number 10. Again, locking up that inside front, so he is definitely pushing all that he can out of those tires. And then through turns 11, 12, into 13 now. A little bit of a snap there, losing the rear end on the exit, but it doesn't seem to have cost him too much. But that's a horrible run, if I do say so myself, through the final chicane of 14, 15, into 16 now. Across the line, it will be a 16-2 to start us off. And I do believe that Becky B either invalidated or aborted his lap, Stars.
Yeah, both Williams invalidated. Rhapsody now does go pole with a blistering 15.4 straight out of the back there. That's not bad at all on the medium compound tyres. I do believe these drivers are going to be looking to, if they do run on the medium tyres, probably a high 14 is probably where this high America's division field is going to be sitting.
We'll now just quickly jump on board with Tom Hawk and the other race point as he comes across the line to finish his first flying lap of the session. It will be 1 minute 16.035 on the soft compound tyres. Currently good enough to sit him in second place as Cedrus comes flying by, and there's a McLaren behind. I do believe that might be Cedrus. No, that'd be Max MB coming out of the pits.
Yeah, just on board with Max Senna as he comes through turn 14 through 15, uses all of the retail available for him. Comes through turn 16, DRS wide open on those soft compound tyres. Does actually put in a 16.1, so 710 soft Rhapsody there, so maybe it was a conservative lap.
Yeah, I noticed that his battery is sitting at a whopping 100%, so I don't think he used any electrical power on that lap. And to still put in a 16.1 despite that is quite the effort from the Mexican.
Yeah, not wrong as Larkino comes round. He has been using his ERS or battery this lap and does a 16.5. I've got a feeling, Mikau, that a lot of these drivers are just going to be doing insulation laps. I think they're just going to be getting a feel for that car, before they do go on that medium run right at the end.
Vixify coming across the line in 5th place with a 1:16.2 as Cedrus takes provisional pole position with a 1 minute 15.309 on those medium compounded tyres, so a very, very solid effort from him. And quite a statement he made in the last race, hey Stars? Well, it was a 2 races.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, obviously, I mean, these drivers are now starting to get rid of those cobwebs. All the nerves are going out through the window. Now you're starting to see some really good results come through.
I wonder if we're going to see any of these medium runners break into the 1 minute 14s. I've heard it is possible, but fairly difficult to do. But we'll see how the session progresses. I do believe, would that be a Holt? No, that would be Lakino coming through. He's still pushing, he's still using that battery, so I don't know exactly what he's going to do. We'll see what he chooses to go. He chooses to dive into the pits. I dare say that the Haas behind him will also jump into the pits, but I think Cheery is actually about to start his lap, Stars.
Yeah, he is. Cheery, obviously P16 at the moment, hasn't set a lap here, comes down into turn number 1, uses all of the entry curb as he goes through. Aphrodite actually goes into pole on the soft compound tyres of a 14.9 there, so we'll flick back onto Cheery there as he comes through turn number 3. Doesn't keep the car nice and hugged like you normally would through the line there, but it's a 21.2 as his first split. Not a bad first sector at all. So he comes down into the tricky, I think, braking zone. Bit off camber here of turn number 5. Very easy to invalidate on exit there through that curbing. Got to be very careful. And then through 7 and 8. Obviously, you want to try and keep this line as straight as you physically can as you go up the hill. You don't want to scrub off as pretty much any time at all. He might actually get a bit of a tow from Arnhell here as he comes down the hill into the really heavy braking zone of turn number 10. You want to set yourself up. This is probably the second hardest complex of corners through here. Turn number 11, turn number 12. Car can be very unbalanced. You've got to create a setup which you enjoy here. He isn't using a lot of the track. He's keeping it very kind of like in the middle. So he's going to be losing a bit of time here. Obviously comes through turn number 14, turn number 15. Does actually take 15 quite nicely. Comes through number 16, the 90-degree right-hander, DRS wide open. Actually puts in a pretty decent time of a 1:15.5 on soft compound tyres. For Cheery, that's not a bad lap.
No, not a bad lap at all. You know, I think that was that Arnhell? Yeah, I think that was Arnhell coming in and behind him, setting his next lap of the session with a 1:16.217. We'll now ride on board with Zamis as he is now preparing for his first flying lap of the session. Currently 17th, yet to set a lap time, as is his teammate Stryfium. But as the founder of the Misfits, we have to see, we'll keep an eye on what he's able to do. There is a AlphaTauri currently in the middle sector. I do believe that would be BTFU, who's also on an outlap at the moment. But Tomahawk also about to start his lap, but we'll jump back on board with the Ferrari driver Zamis and take us through his current flying lap. 21.1 first sector, not bad from the Ferrari driver.
Yeah, especially on those medium compound tyres there, Mick. I do believe, I was talking to him a couple of weeks ago, he said that he doesn't really like the start of the season too much, but he loves coming to Spain. The Circuit de Catalunya is one of his favourites, but through 7 and 8 there, 8 and 9, does take that quite nicely. As he comes down the hill now. It has been a pretty clean lap, a 49.4. That's actually quicker than Rhapsody's second sector split when he posted his first lap on those medium compound tyres here. So I think this is at the moment looking like a pretty decent lap. Does keep the car nice and clean, uses all the retail available for him. Does keep off that curb there through number 13. Does actually miss the apex of 14. Takes 15 okay. Can hop those curbs a little bit better, but still it's relatively clean through 16. Uses the track. It does actually go up to P5, so I think he did lose a lot of time through that last sector there.
That's a 1 minute 15.692 for the Ferrari driver. Good enough for 5th place at the moment. We'll now hop on back to the racing point of Tom Hawk TV as he is coming across the line to set his next time, and he will improve by just over 7/10. And that'll be good enough to slot him into 4th place with a 1 minute 15.3. I see the AlphaTaras are able to do BTFU running very wide. He actually aborts the lap at the last corner there.
I think he was on for something quite nice there, and he didn't want to ruin it by, well, obviously ruining his medium run at the end there.
It's like Yama. I don't exactly know if he's on a in lap. Yes, he is. As is a Rhapsody.
Striffim's about to start his first flying lap of the session.
Yeah, so with 7.5 minutes remaining, all these drivers sort of get their feel for the circuit, or those who have done times. Maybe not the most representative, but there certainly have been some quick times there. Rhapsody with a 15 flat on those mediums is certainly one to watch out for. But Striffium now in the second Ferrari, making his way through the first sector. 21-0 split. The first sector, not too bad there for the Ferrari driver, and it looks pretty nice and tidy so far. He's definitely shown a lot of improvement from the start of the season.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Mikau. Striff's had a couple of challenging first couple of races there. He has actually bought himself a next level racing rig as he does invalidate in the same spot he did in the practice race earlier on in the week. But I do think this race is going to be the telling sign to Striffium. Like I said, he's got his rig now, he's getting used to it. I think this is where he could come out of his shell and really maybe post for one of those, for those lower points finishes. I'm thinking maybe a 10 and a 9, keeps the car clean, can bring this home. He just needs to obviously just keep the car on the track, look after the car. That's the most important thing. The race will come to him. He's got the ability to score points. It's just whether or not he can get towards the end of the race, that's all.
I don't think there's actually any drivers currently on a flying lap at the moment. So we'll take this opportunity to, once again, thank you all for jumping into the stream. I hope you're all having a lovely morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you join us from. And a massive shout out to our partners, Next Level Racing. If you're looking to get into sim racing and taking your experience to the next level, !NLR in the chat, and check out some of their racing rigs. As Stars just mentioned before, one of our own, one of the staff here, and quite a large personality for our community, Striffium, has recently gotten a rig, and he said that he's absolutely loved it. So yeah, if you're looking to take your experience to the next level, be sure to check them out. They've got a great line of rigs, regardless of your price point. But I think...
Yeah, exactly right. Arnhel's just invalidated on his soft run here, so he's going to be coming straight back into the pit, so he's not going to be happy after that. He's sitting in that P10 at the moment. This isn't where he normally sits, so he'll come straight into the pits, probably put on one last set for the last run of the session for him.
Well, here's the thing. We said at the start of the session that the medium to hard was the better strategy compared to the soft to the hard. But there's a large mix of these drivers on the softs, and that's the risk that you run with the qualifying on the mediums, because even though it isn't the largest delta in the world between the two tyre compounds, it is still quite significant. I think from memory it's about 5.5 tenths, and at a short track like this, that can be quite a lot of time. So you have to be very confident in your pace in the mediums to get at least somewhat decent track position, similar to China in that sense. And be sure that you're able to make them work at the start of the race, because these soft guys, while they will have the theoretically, I guess, worst strategy, they certainly will be very, very fast at the start of the race, and they will have that track position at a track where overtaking can be challenging. Not as challenging as it is in real life, but it still can be quite a difficult task.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Just on board with Jay for size, he invalidates probably more potentially his last lap. Don't know if he's got another set, but you are right there, Mikhail. I think you're going to see the guys who are fighting for the championship qualify on those medium compound tyres, and I think the people who are in that mid-tier battle are going to qualify on the softs. And I think it's going to be really, like you said, a really mixed bag, especially into the race. I have been told that it's a dry race, so obviously all the drivers are on for the dry setups here. So what happens at qualifying, it's pretty much what's going to happen in the race. So it's going to be interesting, because these midfield runners could slow up someone, especially if Rhapsody manages to stay in P2, has a good start. I mean, you just don't know. But I mean, you're coming down to the spicy end of qualify now. This is where things are going to heat up. The guys are prepping their cars, putting the last bit of fuel, putting on the last compound of tyres. I mean, we're going to see some laps here, Mick, I think.
Yeah, so I'm just currently having a look at Sejos, who's yet to set a lap time, making his way through turn 9 now, looking very, very nice and tidy. 100 meters down into the braking zone for the final sector of the lap. Gorziak actually has retired. It looks like he's actually crashed with Larkino. Well, right on board with Astrodite as he is making his way towards, and there they are, the two cars just stranded in the middle of the track. I have no idea how that one has come about. It looks like it might be Yama making his way through now. He has to be very, very careful. Oh my goodness, that was tight.
Yeah, exactly right. As Sejos actually goes into P3 with a 15.2. Rhapsody has fitted the soft compound tyres at the end of the session as well.
Rhapsody on the softs in this one. Still in the pits, so he's leaving it to the very last moment, it looks like. Maxime B coming across the line there to set his lap in the session. Currently good enough for 10th place, a 1 minute 15.726 on those yellow striped medium compound of tyres. And let's see who else is currently about to end a lap. I do believe it is one of the Haas's. I think that might be Chiri actually starting a lap, which means it might be Zamus. Yes, it is Zamus. But I think he's actually aborted his lap and is starting a fresh new one. And
Strifium Fro is coming through turn number 13 at the moment to set his one and only lap in the session here.
Strifium in that Scarlet Red Ferrari, the red striped soft compound tyres as well. What's the time going to be for the Canadian as he comes across the line? It'll be P7 for the Ferrari, a 1 minute 15.507. A very, very solid effort indeed, as we have one of the Williams come across the line. I do believe that is Yama to start his lap after aborting it. And Becky B, crucially, has invalidated his first attempt on the medium, so it'll definitely be a one-shot qualifying for the championship leader, and I can speak from experience, and I'm sure you can as well, Stars. That puts a lot of pressure on your shoulders.
Yeah, not wrong. Sorry, Mick, just on board with BT. This is going to be big for the championship. I think he sits about P3 at the moment, P4. He does actually go into P number 4, open up the floodgates, Macau. We're going to see some flying laps towards the end of this session. 15.2 out of BTFU. What a good, solid result by him.
That is certainly a very, very fast time indeed. I think saw another driver come across the line to set their next lap time. I'm not entirely sure who that was, unfortunately, so apologies for that one.
Becky B's in the pits. Becky B's in the pits, Macau. He's done.
Wow,
he hasn't put enough fuel in.
Becky B has not put enough fuel in the car and has invalidated his one and only attempt in this session, so he could very well, depending on how his teammate goes, start in 20th place.
That's it. He will be starting 20th because Yama's about to set a lap. He goes all the way up into P number 3, 15.1 on those 2-lap old medium compound tyres. Becky B, S-King's going to be loving it from the sideline, I'm telling you.
That is a very, very fast lap time from Yama. But only half a tenth faster than Sejos, so putting into perspective just how strong that lap from Sejos was. Maxime B coming across the line will reclaim that 10th place on those medium compound tyres. Next card across the line, I do believe, will be Cedrus. On those softs, he will take pole position, or provisionally, with a 1 minute 14.526 on those soft compound tires. And I think it might just be Tomahawk TV. No, Tomahawk is coming into the pit lane. And ladies and gentlemen, I do believe that is our grid.
Yeah, it is. All the other drivers have, I think, yeah, I think they're all very slow off the pace. I think it's just on cooldown laps at the moment.
Yeah, I had a little bit of a look at Holtz, who still was using that hot lap ERS mode, but has pulled straight into the pits. Rhapsody invalidating his lap time, and that is it.
Well, interesting, Mikhail, on that. Rhapsody actually did invalidate on purpose. He purposely went off the track because he saw Becky B was into the pits. He saw that all of his contenders on the medium compound tires still weren't doing quicker times than him. So he's just like, nah, I'm just going to purposely invalidate. I'm going to start P3 on medium compound tires.
Well, there you can see on your screens now the compound of tire that each of the drivers have set on their best laps. And there is quite the mix, if I do say so myself, but I think the Renault boys will be quite happy with that they're able to lock out the front row. And it's not very often that you actually see constructors locking out the front row just due to the sheer competitiveness, but it will be an all-American, all-Renault front row with Cedrus in pole position with a 1 minute 14.526 ahead of his teammate Ashley with a 1 minute 14.904. Then you have the fastest of the medium runners, Rhapsody, with a 1 minute 15.047, about a tenth and a half faster than Yama in that Williams car with a 1 minute 15.184. And then we have Sejos for McLaren in that 5th place, BTFU in 6th. Both those two on the medium compound tires of walk. Tomahawk in 7th place on those softs with a 1 minute 15.316. And then Max Senna and Arnhel on the mediums and softs respectively in 8th and 9th. The Maxime B will round off the top 10. Stryfium in 11th there, Chiri in 12th, Zamas 13th, Vixtify 14th, Jafasai 15th, Holtz, Larkino, Cappy, Gorzieg, and Becky B will round off the final slot on this grid. It will be a full dry race, as we have said before. If you're just joining us, welcome to the 6th round of the MRL Season 4 America's Championship. My name is Mikhail, joining me is Stars. And although it's a dry race, Stars, quite a lot of clouds out there. I can barely see that blue sky at all.
You're not wrong there at all, Mick. I think the drivers are going to be a little bit concerned maybe towards the end of the race. Apparently it is dry, but you never know. Cody's does sometimes like to play a couple of tricks on us. It should be an interesting race regardless.
Yeah, so as the drivers are just finalizing their strategies and fuel loads and the setup changes that they can make under the parc ferme conditions, we will be right underway with the formation lap, and we will go through the tires once we get everything set up for this back 10. So why don't you take us through that tire? So I actually have a car go straight into the wall. I think that was Max Senna. I don't quite know how he managed to pull that one off. Luckily for him, no damage on the formation lap. So
yeah, very lucky.
That could have been very, very bad if there was damage on the formation lap. But Stars, take us through this back 10 with their tyre strategies, because I'm seeing quite a decent mix, if I'm not, well, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, that's right, Mick. P number 11, Stryfium, who qualified on those soft compound tyres, does get free choice of tyres, is starting on the optimal strategy here on those medium compounds. And Chiri in 12th on those medium compound tyres. Then we got the checkerboard. We got Zamis on hards, Vixify on mediums, Jafasai on softs. So interesting to Jafasai here. Like we said, it's very hard to pass around this circuit. Softs probably not a good option, I don't believe. Start the race here, but anyway, we'll see what he can do. Holtz on those hard compound tyres, Larkinio, Cappy, Gauzy on the mediums, and Becky B, championship leader, back of the grid, hard compound tyres, hard to mediums, probably the better strategy because you're finishing on the fast compound tyre. But I mean, if he gets wing damage at any point in this first lap, because he's trying to make up some spots, try and be a little bit more aggressive, that could really spell disaster for him. So he's going to have to be very, very clean. He's on probably the quicker strategy, but yeah, Just to note as well, like I did mention before, Jay Fasai on those soft compound tyres. Watch out for him. Probably be quick on the first couple of laps, but then he's going to be in a world of trouble.
Yeah, I think what Jay is going for is he's going to use the extra grip in the softs to make as much track position as he can early on, and then just be a massive roadblock to stretch those tyres all the way to around lap 9, where he can make the hards last to the end. I think that's what he's going for. I don't really see him making the 2-stop work, but, you know, maybe he knows something that we don't, Stars, and we'll have to keep a close eye on him, and of course Becky B starting from last, attempting the last to first challenge, as it were, to really mitigate the damage that he did to himself in qualifying. But as Becky B is taking his grid slot, we will be underway in just a few moments' time, ladies and gentlemen. If you're just joining us, welcome to MRL Season 4 America's Division action. For round number 6 at Spain, we have 3, 4, 5 red lights ahead of the drivers here at Barcelona. The lights are out and away we go, and it looks like it's been a very good start from Astrodite there, trying to get alongside. Looks like there isn't too much drama going on right now. BTFU trying to make a place up on CJOS going into turn 1. I don't see too much contact. We said BTFU and CJOS going side by side through their first complex of corners. The CJOS managing to stay ahead of that one. Tom Hawk and Angel, the 2 racing points close behind them as well. You see one of the Red Bulls, I think that's Mexena, going extremely wide. And this looks like there's been quite a bit of an issue for the 2 Alfa Romeos, falling down into 18th and 20th respectively. Becky B up a couple of spots in the 6th. There's a massive dive there from Angel on his teammate, almost going into the back of a BTFU there. But I can safely say that there haven't been any incidents in this first set. But as I say that, Angel has spun it into the grass. And so he will be trying to get that car recovered as quickly as he can, but riding on board now with Jay Fasai in 14, trying to use those soft compound tires to full effect. Street for him, trying to go defensive on the inside, ending into turn 10. Can Jay make it work around the outside? Yes, he can. It looks like Strippy might have had a bit of contact there. Becky B is through into 14th already, Stars. Wow, what a start from the Williams.
Yeah, beautiful start there by Becky B. Kept his nose clean. Striffium on turn number 10 actually got taken out by Cappy. I mean, Cappy must have missed his braking point, unfortunately, and it has actually bumped Striff and then Becky B around the outside there into P14.
Looks like we have quite a large jumble of cars there. I do believe that would be Vixify, trying to make his way around the outside of Zamus. He loses the rear end a little bit, and that's going to open the door for Zamus. And I do believe that must be Jay as well. Timing Tower playing its usual tricks on the second lap of the race, but Vixify, he tried to make that move stick, but it just didn't quite work out for him. It looks like the Timing Tower is now back to its proper working order, thankfully. You see Cappy there getting very, very close to the back of Larkino. Lots of grass on that front left tyre. Is he going to try and make a move into 7 and 8? No, not quite just yet. But the grid is still a very, very tightly packed. We'll now jump back on board with the Haas of Jay. Making his way into turn 10. And it looks like Zamus struggling a little bit to get those hards up to temperature. Of course, he won't have as much grip and speed as those in front of him. So it will be very, very important for Vixify and especially Jay to get past him as soon as possible.
Yeah, as well as Becky B, because if Zamus is holding up the grid here, this is going to help the top guys pull away from Becky B, and his strategy might actually be null and void.
Is now starting lap 3 of this race. DRS is now enabled. Looks like Angel has had another issue in the final sector of the lap this time. And we have a virtual safety car. I think he's actually crashed into the pit wall. His car is still going.
Yes.
But that is
correct.
a virtual safety car.
He did indeed. Did indeed. Mick, he did that in the practice race. Gas it too early, hit that bump on pit entry. Unfortunately, has lost his wing.
Yeah, it is something that the drivers have to be wary of. It's not quite like any of the other pit lanes where it's sort of open space. The walls are actually very, very tight. Maybe a bit of practice for Monaco next week. But yeah, they have to be very, very careful entering that pit lane. Otherwise, accidents like that can happen. And we have the first virtual safety car of the race. But the two Renaults, thankfully for them, have been able to get away scot-free. And have been able to actually pull a little bit of a gap back to Rhapsody. I don't know how they're going to time this virtual safety car restart. It should be coming in at any moment now. We'll see how it's going. We're right on board with the Mercedes of Rhapsody. Just snaking our way around the third sector. Very, very long virtual safety car. And Zamas has actually picked up a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car.
He's not going to be happy with that one. He's going to probably come straight in, try and get that serve straight away, get back out in clean, fresh air.
Well, lap 4 of this race, Cedrus is currently still your race leader, 9/10 ahead of his teammate Aphrodite. Then 1.1 seconds back is the Mercedes of Rhapsody. Then Yama, Cjos, BTFU, Tomhawk, Mexena, Maxime B, and Cherry will round off the top 10. And the grid is already starting to separate a little bit.
Jay Fasai made an overtake on Zamas. Zamas has decided to stay out. Zamas is a big block in the road there, as we did mention before. He's holding up everyone at the moment, so he's obviously got no temps in these hard compound tyres, or his car is not set up or built for the hards.
Here you see Becky B trying to have a little bit of a look at Vixify, who was unable to make his way past. Unable to make the dive into turn number 5, probably for the better at this stage in the race. Just keeping it nice and patient. But it looks like the train has formed. And it looks like Zamas is slowly dropping off the back of Jay. I think he will have DRS on this occasion.
Vixify run wide. Becky B had a better run coming into turn number 10. Vixify tries to go onto later on the brakes there, but they're still side by side. He actually pulls out of it, and Becky B does go through for that P13 position there.
Becky B trying to take all the opportunities that he can, and he will need to at a circuit like this, considering his qualifying. But it looks like the fastest laps coming in thick and fast. Aphrodite with a 118.7 in that second place, using that DRS and slipstream to full effect, as Jay Fasai actually will snatch that fastest lap award. But the two Renaults have actually used the softs to a good effect here. They have been able to pull it 1.4 seconds back to Rhapsody, who has Yama right on his tail as well, Stars.
Yeah, exactly right. Thanks from Renault. P1, P2, they've gapped him, as we do have Angel again, who has retired from the session. DNF.
Safety car.
Full safety car.
Wow.
Don't think we're going to be able to see that, unfortunately, are we?
I think he's actually still moving. I think he's just retired from the pause menu, it looks like. We'll definitely have to have a look at that at the end, but that's very, very unfortunate for both the Racing Point squad and all these guys here on the track, as we do have a safety car on the 5th lap of this race. And
this changes strategy, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm wondering what these guys on the softs do. Like, they surely have to pit, but for what tyre?
It's a tough decision, isn't it? Do you just do you go to the 2-stop and then, I don't know, medium? I don't know. It's a tricky one, that's for sure.
What about these
Maybe just go safe and try and make hards to the end. I don't know. Hards probably won't make it to the end from here, so.
Renault will be doing the double stack. Both Cedrus and Aphrodite pulling into the pit lane. Rhapsody, Yama, and Cjos, as well as BT, all staying out, I do believe. I think it will only be those soft runners coming in. Looks like Maxime, Cherry as well going on to them. Cedrus has opted for the hards, and Aphrodite losing a lot of time in this pit lane.
He's gone onto the mediums. Aphrodite onto the mediums, so the Renault has split the strategy.
Renault have split the strategy. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. It is quite the interesting decision there. But we'll see which strategy turns out to be the fast one. Aphrodite is down in 16th though, and so he did lose a lot of time behind his teammate. And this safety car has definitely not helped these two Renault drivers. Because even with the safety car, lap 6, hards from lap 6, I think it's possible.
They surely won't make it.
I think it's possible, but there's a massive asterisk next to that. But you will be at 90% tyre wear at the end of the race.
Exactly. And you know what, Mikau? You know what I said at the start when we went back after VSC? I said Zamas is going to pit here because he'll go through the drive-through, he'll serve that. Guess what? He hasn't done that. Now there's a safety car. If he had done that, he would have been back on the pack there. He'll be rounding them back in. He could have pitted as well. He could have gone onto another strategy. Now he's stuck in P6. Has to serve his drive-through, more than likely the second when the safety car comes in. Otherwise, he's going to get another penalty for that. And then he's just going to be way off pace with everyone. So his race is effectively ruined if there's no other safety cars come out.
Certainly has put them in an interesting spot, but I think the big winner out of this safety car at least for the moment, is Becky B. With all with all of those soft runners pitting.
He's left the session.
As I said, yeah,
Internet issues.
He's left the session. That's never a good sign. Hopefully we're able
Commentators curse there, Mickey. Oh.
Well, it must be. I mean, I said there was a clean opening sector, and then Arnhell spun, and now I'm saying how great Becky B's start was, and how well the safety cars worked out for him. And now his computer's crashed, or his internet started, or something of that nature. So hopefully he's able to get back in before the safety car gets called in, which I do believe will be at the end of this lap. But after the pit stops in the safety car, it is Rhapsody in that Mercedes, the Black Arrows car, leading them away. Yama in the second Williams car in, well, second place. Joss in third, BCFU in fourth, Mex Senna in fifth. Zamis with a drive-through stall to serve in sixth. Becky B in seventh, Striffium in eighth, Vixtify in ninth, and Holt will round off the top 10 at this stage of the race. And we have Cedrus, who was in the lead of this race, but pitted under the safety car to put on those hard compound tires.
Oh no! Oh no! Becky B lost his whole front left wing as he joined back. Zamis, sorry, was warming up the tires, and he's lost a whole front left part of his wing.
Oh no!
That's the issue, ladies and gentlemen. When you leave mid-session and you join back under safety car, that is the issue. So he's going to have to pit. He's going to have to go into mediums.
Yeah, mediums definitely won't make it to the end from here. That looks like a red wing from my screen. A red wing on that left-hand side. But the safety car has been called in, so we might very well see both Zamis and Becky B head straight into the pits. One for a drive-through, one for a pit stop and a change of front wing. But that has certainly turned the tides heavily in this one. Rhapsody. Really backing
Tell you
up
what, Mikal. S-King on the Zoom call in the Towery garage. He's going to be loving every moment of this as Rhapsody does come round. Turn number 15. He does accelerate.
Striffium has spun. Oh, something's happened to Striffium. He's now down into 19th on the safety car restart, but they are away. Looks like Yama has read Rhapsody like a book, and Zamis has been disqualified for not serving the drive-through.
What is going on, Mikal?
I have no idea, but the stewards are definitely having a field day in this one. So Zamis is out of the session. Striffium now down to 17th after spinning. So Ferrari are definitely not going to be happy with that, but we see Tom Hawk and looks like Ashley going side by side. Tom Hawk getting a little bit squirrely on that exit curbing, and now Astrolite looking at the inside of Gorzieg, heading into turn 3. Braking zone for turn 4 now. Here we go, and Astrolite has made up 2 positions, up into 11th place. Really using those fresh mediums for all they're worth, and he is trying to make up as much time as he can.
Yeah, that's right. His teammate here, Citrasa, obviously made the move on Holtz going into turn number 1 after the safety car restart there, so he's going to be happy. He's now after Vixtify.
Yeah, Jay Fasai as well. Gorzieg dropping like a stone on the safety car restart. Not quite sure if he has damage with this car that we can't see. But Jay Fasai trying to hunt him down. He has that overtake. Looks to the inside line. Heading into turn 10. Gorzieg leaves him the room. Can Jay get through? Yes, he can. So the 2 Haas's both make up a position on Gorzieg. And now Striffium will be the next one to attack the Mercedes.
This is heating up all over the grid, isn't it, at the moment, Macau? Everyone's all over the back of each other. Like I said, it's very difficult to pass, and if you're going to do it, you're going to want to do it now. Aphrodite is in ERS, and slipstream advantage on Cappy at the moment. He won't be able to make the move into turn number 1, but these guys are all over the back of each other as Jay Fasai makes a move on his teammate Chiri into turn number 1 there, so nice and clean.
I think that might have been team orders there, as Jay is on those fresh mediums, and he will have to make another pit stop. Chiri, while he probably will need to make another stop, theoretically could.
Aphrodite went on the inside, sorry, Macau, at turn number 4 on Cappy, so that's another position. Sorry to cut you off there.
That's alright. Aphrodite is certainly not letting us take any breath at this stage of the race. He is absolutely flying, showing that the pace that he had in qualifying wasn't just because of those soft compound tyres. He has got a lot of speed in that Renault car. DRS not quite enabled just yet. Brakes a little bit early, just to make sure he doesn't run into the back of Larkino. But he has to clear these guys as quickly as he can, as the grid, as you can see from the map on the right-hand side of your screen, ladies and gentlemen, has started to separate into these clumps. You have the front two who are slowly pulling away from Seajos. Seajos has BTFU for company. Max Senna seems to be in the land of his own. Then we have Vixify and Cedrus. Those two there. And then we have the rest. But Asteroid, he's got the run.
Using all of his energy, isn't he? But so's Larkenio. He's going to have pretty much nothing at the end of this. He's going to have to make a dive bomb to make it worth as well here. Into turn number one. He does go for the dive. He does make it work. A very nice clean overtake there. Larkino was a gentleman and did give him enough racing room through mid-corner there. So great move there by Aphrodite into P number 9 now. Becky B sets fastest lap in clean air on those medium compound tyres. He's going to need to do something crazy to even get points in this race.
Stryfium now up the inside of Gauzy Egg. This might be for the battle for 16th, but these two are very, very formidable rivals in the race has gone by, and now Stryfium up into 16th place. So a great move there from the Ferrari, but there's a yellow flag. It's, oh no! Is that Aphrodite? It is! Aphrodite is in the gravel, and all of that hard work that he did for the past couple of laps has been completely undone in one large mistake. He's struggling to keep that car under control. Those rears must be scorching as Tom Hawk makes his way past Cappy as well for the final points position.
Oh geez, he's losing it completely. I don't believe he has got damage. I think he just lost it all by himself. I think he went for a bit of a dive on Larkenio, I believe it was, and he just locked the tyres up and went straight into the gravel trap.
Jay Fasai now currently sitting in 12th place, is eyeing up the Red Bull of Cappy. Cappy weaving there to the middle of the track trying to defend, but it's not going to be enough. Jay is cleanly through. Easy as you like. And that is the Haas now up into 11th place.
Cedrus, sorry, made up another position into P number 6 on those fresh hards. I think at this stage, he needs to start conserving, unless he's going to go for a 2-stop strategy. Maybe go on softs at the end here. I mean, it could be viable. I don't know, but if he doesn't want to take that pit stop, he's going to have to start conserving now because he is pushing hard at the moment.
BTFU also within striking distance, but before that, we will have a look at Cheery down in 14th place, getting very, very close to the back of Maxime, who is also very close to the back of Cappy, as we are on lap 10, so these mediums are starting to lose a little bit of life. We'll see what Maxime is able to do. Looking up the inside, heading into turn 10, a little bit earlier on the brakes. Cappy trying to hold it around the outside. These guys are still side by side, but Cappy is able to keep the McLaren at bay, and Cheery just has the popcorn, and it's just like, can I just like pass both of you, please? Thanks. Oh, Cappy's made a mistake. Oh my goodness.
He has, in the worst possible spot. He has lost 2 positions through turn number 14 there, sorry. You'd never see that happen.
So I think Cappy just lost the rear end at the exit of 13. Maxim had to brake suddenly and went offline to try and avoid them, and Cheery just threaded the needle through both of them.
Yeah, exactly right there. We've got a 5-car train from Cheery all the way back down to Stryfium, so this is going to be another tight battle. We do tend to see it every single race, so always does provide a fair bit of action for us commentators and our viewers in the chat.
We also have these 2 duels, one for first, one for third. At the front of things, Yama doing very well to stick with Rhapsody, as is BTFU with Cedros. Cedros actually showing incredible pace at this race. Very, very impressed with him thus far. But as you were saying, Stars, there is that massive train towards the back end of the grid. Now, Gorziak is the one looking at Cappy. He is using that DRS and overtake, but he isn't going to be quite close enough. He makes for the dive, goes for the dive anyway. Isn't quite able to get alongside enough. He loses the rear
Position
end.
for first. Yamamoto does make the move cleanly with DRS wide open there. Is now into first, as BTFU also does make the position on Cjos. So 2 position changes for our front 4 runners.
Yes, but there has been quite a lot of battery expended from both of the 2 leaders. It's actually now an exchange between Stryfium and Aphrodite. Looks like Aphrodite making that move cleanly through. Gauzy Egg, look at the speed from that Mercedes, heading into the first corner, and he is easily past the Red Bull of Cappy. I do believe there was another exchange as well between Maxim and Cheery. So lots of overtaking.
That's exactly right.
There's another yellow flag.
Oh, Aphrodite has come together with Stryfium as he tried to overtake him, and he's just lost another position to Becky B. He is going backwards quick.
Where's Becky B coming from all of this? He was like a pit stop behind. And now he's almost caught up to Stryfium. What incredible pace that we're seeing out of the championship leader. I guess he's not the championship leader for nothing. But he certainly still has a lot of work to do.
He's driving with anger now at the moment.
Oh, the two Alfa Romeo's actually getting a bit hairy there. Now Tom Hawk has made it past one of them. He's made it past Larkino. Can he find his way past Holtz as well? Heading into turn 13 we go. Well, you can just see Holt seems to really be starting to struggle on those older hards, at least compared to the fresher mediums. There's actually now another yellow flag. It's Stryfium out in the runoff area at turn 12. We're riding on board now with Tom Hawk, and you're going to see the speed with the slipstream, DRS, and overtake. There's actually a drag race going on behind them as well between Jay and Larkino. The Haas driver now back up into the points-paying positions. And looks like he might even try and get Holtz here on the inside of 3. No, not quite. The dirty air really taking its toll on that Haas car.
Positions left, right, and centre here, Macau, down that 1 kilometre straight, isn't it? Crazy.
Yeah, there's certainly been a lot of exchanges there, but you just see the overspeed. And the game doesn't really have that dirty air problem that you see plague the real drivers in real life through that final corner. It can be difficult, but it looks like all these drivers are proving it otherwise. But crucially, at the front of things, Yama has just been able to pull out that 1 second gap back to Rhapsody. So Rhapsody will not have that rear wing open for this coming main straight. But it looks like Sejoss will. So we will have a little bit of a look on board with the McLaren driver. He's not using that overtake. He's just using the slipstream and DRS as much as he can, as Max Senna actually is coming into the pits, presumably for a fresh set of hards to take him to the end of this race, Stars.
Yeah, this is the crossover point for the drivers if they want to come into the pits now and get rid of those old medium tyres and get onto the hards, and the hards should take you to the end of the race now.
Jay Fasai now making his way past the second Alfa Romeo of Holtz, now up into 8th place as we see a lot of action in the pit lane. Looks like Max Senna wasn't the only one. Larkino as well, Cappy, Gorzieg, all into the pits to change their set of tyres and prepare themselves to get to the end of the race on those hards. But with that, looks like the grid is slowly but surely starting to space itself out. The smallest gap that I see on the timing tower is this one between Jay and Holtz. Only about 9 tenths. BTFU is doing all that he can to break that DRS range to Sejoss in that battle for the final podium place. Oh, but Holtz running a little bit wide there at the exit of turn 9, and that will be a 3-second time penalty for the Alfa Romeo driver.
As BTFU, Rhapsody and Sejoss all come into the pit, so they are going onto the hard compound tyres to the end of the race. Yamamoto is the only one who has stayed out, but I tell you what, he has got some pace on those wearing medium compound tyres here, Mikhail.
Yeah, definitely one to watch out for. So Sejoss will take second place provisionally. Fixify in third. Where are these three going to come out? It needs to be in relatively clean air. Rhapsody now releases the pit limiter. Where is he going to slot? It's going to be close between him and Holtz heading into the first corner. Holtz is able to get ahead, at least for the time being. Maxime able to slot himself between BTFU and Rhapsody. Sejoss able to stick very close to the back of the AlphaTauri. Oh, here comes Rhapsody. Rhapsody making his way around the outside of turn 5. And Holtz has no choice but to let the Mercedes go. And I think that was a very important move for the Mercedes Stars.
Yeah, that's it. He's got a bit of clean air now. He can race after Jay Fasai. He can try and build that gap to BTFU. Obviously, as well, the big one, Yamamoto. Is Yama going to come into the pits? Well, he doesn't. He decides to stay out again, so he's overextending heavily here. So, I mean, this should help Rhapsody here with that clean air. He should be able to put in faster laps than what Yama's doing currently. So, Rhapsody might get an undercut here, but Yama's going to have much fresher tyres towards the end of the race.
Fixify now making his pit stop from that third place. He's taking a helicopter's view at this battle for what is provisionally, as we believe, third. But it is the battle on track for 7th at the moment, and BTFU, he has that DRS, the slipstream as well, not using as much of the overtake. They are going side by side between him and Maxime. Holtz now having a little bit of trouble through turn 2. Maxime now looking around the outside of the Alfa Romeo through turn 3, and he's made that move done. He gets that move done. A great move there from the McLaren and BTFU. Has to catch up as much as he can, but he can't because Stryfium, the second Ferrari, is out of this race, and we have the second safety car. And what does this do for the strategy? Has Yama just played this absolutely perfectly? He's now going to get a cheap pit stop and presumably come out in the lead of this race.
Yeah, he will indeed. This has worked into his perfection here. Interesting what Cedras does. His tyres probably will make it to the end now with this safety car, so he should actually stay out. He might actually take the lead here. No, he's actually pitting. He's pitting for mediums, I reckon. He goes sideways into the entry there. But yeah, both, as you said, Mikhail, both Ferraris out of this race. Again, we've said it once before, we'll say it again. Debris, Froome, Ferrari, I wouldn't want to be there.
No, it's really unfortunate there, but it looks like the top 4 have decided to come into the pits. Obviously, Rhapsody will stay out. Max Senna picks up a drive-through for speeding under the safety car. Where is Rhapsody going to come out? Yama is clearly in the lead of things. There's a drag race now into the first corner, and Cedras will actually come out in second on a fresh set of mediums. Fresh set of mediums from here, Stars?
Oh, don't ask me this one again, Mikhail. God, I don't know. He made the call onto the hards. I didn't know. Mediums, I don't know. He's testing it. Put it that way. If he's got the raw pace. He's got raw pace over Rhapsody as it is. He's on a quicker compound tire. All he has to do is conserve his tyres now. It's going to be a big stretch, but he needs to conserve his tyres. He will generally just be quicker, but he needs to conserve. If he doesn't conserve, who knows what might happen.
Yeah, it can be quite the struggle on those age mediums. We saw how much some of the other drivers were struggling on the 14-lap-old mediums, and he has about that much left to go in this race. Safety car will definitely help, but yeah, it's going to be quite interesting to see how he manages those tyres. But hey, if Yama can do it, I don't see any reason why Cedras can't do it either. And it looks like he's not the only one. Tomahawk, Jay Fasai, Maxim B, Holtz, Cheery, Becky B, and Astronaut, as well as Gorziek, all going onto a fresh set of medium compound tyres to the end of this race. So, does that mean that Cedras could, in theory, win this race?
I think so. I think at the moment right now he's a clear-cut favourite. He'll get past Yama. He'll push a little bit. He'll extend that 1 second gap, and then he'll just conserve his tyres, and he'll just keep it clean. He won't get any penalties. He'll just look after himself, and he should win. The likes of Becky B in 13th, I expect him to get points, maybe 7th, 8th by the end of the race here. He's quicker than everyone in front of him, all the way up into probably P4, P3. So yeah, I expect him to do quite well. The likes of Astrodite should actually get into the points as well. Who else are we looking at here? Maxime B's not in a bad position. He should score some good points. But yeah, these front runners, Rhapsody, BTFU, Cjos, Max Senna. Obviously, Max Senna's now got that time penalty all over his head. So, I mean, the three before him should probably still score some decent points. It's just whether or not they can hold off the fast-flying finishing likes of Maxime, Becky B, Astrodite.
Well, I don't think Max Senna's going to be able to do much for it because he actually has a drive-through, Stars, for speeding under the safety car. So he is out of that one.
Well, that one went over my head there, Mikhail.
Yeah, that's alright. That was the best of us. But yeah, so I think Max Senna, he's really going to have to pull something out and hope for another safety car if he wants any hope at salvaging some points for that Red Bull squad. But yeah, very interesting. It's
going to affect the combined constructors here. I think Red Bull were looking quite tasty in P2, so obviously scoring probably no points today is going to be a bit rough.
Yes, I'm sure Jake will not be very happy with that one. But the safety car has been called in, so Yama will become the de facto safety car in this final set of the lap. If you're just joining us, welcome to the Misfits Racing League. My name is Mikhail. Joining me with my fellow countrymen Stars from the land down under, we are bringing you the Americas Division action for round number 6 here in Spain. And once again, a massive shout out to our partners, Next Level Racing, !NLR, if you're looking to take your sim racing experience to the next level. But it looks like Yama, he's pinned the throttle, using that overtake out of the last corner, and Cedrus is all over him, Stars. Green flag racing, and it looks like we have a drag race between these two, heading into the first break zone of the lap. Looks like they are almost identical on straight line speed. Cedrus a little bit later on the brakes, has to go off the track there. Yama falling a bit behind. Cedrus has to let off for the illegal overtake, and that's going to allow Rhapsody up the inside of the third turn. Who is going to be the last of the late breakers? It will be the Renault trying to hold it around the outside. Rhapsody gets squeezed out now, and BCFU has a look at Rhapsody as well. Is he going to go make the dive into turn 5? No, not on this occasion.
Wow, what a great start there by Cedrus. Unfortunately, he couldn't get the move done, but he's going to look at getting the move done in turn number 7. This doesn't happen at all. Macau is side by side. They do touch, and Yamamoto does come out victorious in that battle there. This is just heating up through this lap here. So just needs to make the move as quickly as possible. He does put the overtake on once more. He's in the slipstream. He is going to go for the dive into turn number 10. He does get the dive done. He is actually ahead, and he will get this move done. Yamamoto does slide in between, back behind the number 1 driver in the Renault there, so this is all clean air from Cedrus now on the quicker compounder tyre.
Wow, he certainly left nothing on the table there. Rhapsody and BCFU doing all they can to keep up, and there's actually quite a lot of exchanging going on behind them. Looks like Max Senna is in the pits to serve that drive-through penalty. JF Versailles.
Yama's coming back.
Is Yama coming back at him? Yama, yeah, that looks like you're right. Yama using that slipstream to good effect. Rhapsody!
Oh,
picks up a
Rhapsody!
3-second time penalty. Oh no! That could be huge at the end of this race, but we'll see how things play out for the remaining 13 laps. See the yellow flag, sector 1, that's one of the Red Bulls, that's Cappy.
Oh, the Red Bulls' day has gone from bad to worse, unfortunately.
Yeah, Christian Horner not going to be too thrilled about that one. But yeah, it looks like Cedrus is actually starting to pull a little bit of a gap using those tyres. We'll now jump back a little bit to this midfield battle. Currently riding on board with Aphrodite, sitting in 13th place in the second Renault car. Look at the run he's got out of turn 9, Stars. Oh my goodness, looking to the inside, goes for the late lunge into the braking zone, and he is cleanly through. Looks like a little bit of contact there from the Cherry. But Aphrodite now up into 12th place. Wow, what a move.
Yeah, great move there. Also on board before with Becky B, got the move done on Fixify, is into P number 9 now, so he will be scoring some points, or more points I should say, with DRS enabled for this lap. So for these front runners who are all within that 1 second, BTFU right on the brinks, it should be very interesting next couple of laps. It'll be interesting to see if people do decide to use that energy and get the move done as quickly as they can while they still have the fresh compound.
Holtz has spun it. He tapped the ribble strip at turn 2, Stars. And that car has gone completely around. He's trying to do his best to recover it. But that, oh my goodness. I saw that. We were riding on board with, I think it was Aphrodite at the time. And you just see Holtz just try and accelerate on that ribble strip at turn 2, and that car just went completely away from him to that left-hand side, and now Holtz down into 16th place, so not a great moment for him. But now jumping up with Becky B, currently sitting in 9th place, some 3.5 tenths behind a Maxime. He's stuck in the DRS train at the moment, Stars, and speaking from experience, trying to overtake in a DRS train is very, very challenging.
Yeah, it is. You basically need to get the absolute perfect run out of turn number 15 into 16 here, so we'll be interested to see if he can do that. He's going to want to make the move done as quickly as he can. He has had a pretty good run.
It's been okay, Stars, but Maxime B has that DRS, but Becky B, he's using all of the battery. You can see it draining all the way down to the 26, 25%, but he just can't find a way past. But ahead of them, Jay is very close to the back of Tomahawk, making their way through turn 3. You can see the Dirty S sort of the washout from the Haas car. Becky B as well, very, very close behind. There's actually now an exchange behind them as well between Vixify and Cherry. And Vixify is off into the gravel, and he's actually chipped off that right side end plate, while Kino now flies by. And that is very, very unfortunate for the reserve driver.
Yeah, on debut as well. Mikau, he's not going to be happy about that one. That's it's very sad to see. But Becky B through turn number 9 is all over the back of Maxime B, and actually had to lift off a fair bit here. Be interesting to see if he goes for the dive. He is catching him. Maxime B is leaving the door wide open for him. Becky B does go down the inside there, does get the move done on the exit of turn number 10. So he is now into P number 8. He's after Jay Fasai and Tomahawk now.
Yeah, but he's used a lot of resources to make that move stick. Definitely one that he needed to get done quickly, but I'm not 100% sure it was worth it at that stage, because now he's going to have to do the same thing all over again between these two, who are probably going to fight themselves for that 6th place. Jay Fasai with that DRS making his way into the first braking zone, clean as you like, around the outside, just holding onto that racing line. Tom Hawk doesn't really have any say in that matter. But you can just see that he's still gaining on the Haas driver through the fast right-hander of turn 3.
Yeah, the gaps here are really starting to crumble down. It's pretty much nothing at all. The drivers are I think the drivers are just trying to get the moves done as quickly as they can, because obviously once the speed goes off the tyres, it's going to be more harder to pass, especially in a DRS train. Sorry. So yeah, I think they're just wanting to get the moves done as quickly as they can. I mean, it's providing great action for us.
So yellow flag in second.
Larkino has lost it.
That's Larkino has lost it at turn 7 and 8. So another team with a very, well, less than ideal debrief, if I say that. But Cedrus has been able to set the fastest lap so far, 1 minute 17.583. And he is pulling away very, very nicely. But now back on this fight for 6th place. Now both Becky B and Tomahawk with DRS heading into the first break. So Becky B is going to try and make it 2 and 1 here. And he will make that move stick. And that was very, very important indeed. He'll now have clean air to really just pump in the laps for the dying stages of this race. And Tomahawk also making it past, as well as Maxime B on the Haas. So Jay has lost 3 positions in the space of 1 sector, Stars.
Yeah, that's rough. He's not going to be happy about that. He's probably going to try and fight back as much as he can, especially into the braking zone of turn number 10. But Becky B, this is his chance to pull a gap here. He needs to use as much ERS as he can. I think if I was in his position, I would just drain it all and try and get out that 1 second so you don't come under attack and then just do laps. But yeah, as you say, Jay Fasai has got DRS. He won't be able to go for a dive, but Aphrodite is all over the back of him, and he actually
he's gone
way too deep. Way too deep, I'm afraid, and he has made contact there. I believe that was with Maxime B.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate that the stewards might need to have a look at that one after the race. But oh my goodness, Cedrus and Yama going completely side by side. Cedrus has actually left the session. So he is suffering some connection issues, it looks like. Now Yama's going to try and use this opportunity to full effect. We're going around the outside of turn 1. We have a beautiful camera shot of this one. So Yama is now through into first place. Cedrus down into second, trying to get back in the session as quickly as he can. Rhapsody in third, close behind him, trying to make the move. The AI moves out of the way there. But this...
Cedrus is back.
Oh, a massive dive there from the Mercedes.
BTFU gets underneath as well. And now Cedrus is back. No, he isn't. He hasn't gotten control. He has gotten control now. Jeez, Cedrus nearly lost the full front wing there, but this has brought BTFU back in because he was about 1.6 seconds behind Rhapsody.
Cedrus is off in the gravel. Oh my goodness! A massive accident out of turn 9 between Cedrus and Cedrus.
And Becky B, P number 4.
Oh my goodness, that is a massive accident. That'll definitely need to be looked at by the stewards after the race. Oh my goodness me, that was scary. That was very scary.
Yeah,
and now Cedrus has taken... What?
Gorzieg lost it. At turn number 10.
Gorzieg. I don't know what was happening to that McLaren, but Cedrus was just veering off to the right-hand side, and Gorzieg was there, and Gorzieg getting put straight into the wall. And that is the third safety car of this race.
BTFU and Becky B pitting. And BTFU's gone on to mediums to the end. Becky B is going on to softs. BTFU has done a blunder there. He should be going on to softs for sure towards the end of the race. So I mean, he's going to come out in fourth, but that's not the compounder tyre you'd want to go onto at the with only a couple laps to go.
This race has just been crazy from start, well, to this point, and it will be crazy towards the end as well, with this very late safety car, presumably most, if not all, of the drivers pitting for fresh softs. BTFU,
Exactly
the clear
right.
anomaly there, onto a fresh set of medium tyres. So very curious to see how that one will pay out for the American. But oh my goodness, what a race we are witnessing here, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of drama in this one. And Rhapsody's penalty is going to mean more than anything. Like, just really just the effect of that penalty is going to be exacerbated beyond belief because of this safety car. He'll only have about 2 or 3 laps to pull out as much time as he can in 3 seconds when the whole field is bunched up like this on fresh softs is going to be big. And he actually stays out.
That was interesting.
I don't know if I agree with that decision, but Rhapsody has stayed out. We'll take the lead of this race. The safety car currently sitting around the exit of turn 3. The Delta has
Maybe
been
he's just
lifted.
going to try and be a boat.
Maybe, but that means that he'll have lots of fast drivers behind him on fresh compound tyres, and he's just going to lose so many positions because of that penalty.
Yeah, I don't know what he was thinking there, as Yama does come back out into P number 3 on fresh soft compound tyres. Mikhail, I'll tell you what, before this race, I had a few gentlemen who came up to me and said America's is one of the most boring divisions to watch, and I'm telling you right now, it definitely is not. This has been one of the best races to date this year. Unbelievable drama left, right and centre, great battles all throughout the race. This is just great, and now we have a sprint to the finish, a dash to the line. Who's going to come out on top? You got Rhapsody, P number 1, old hards, time penalty, Maxi and B, relatively old medium compound tyres, no time penalty. Yama comes up into P number 3, fresh softs, BTFU, fresh mediums, and then you've got a wave all the way down to our last driver who's still on the grid on soft compound tyres. This is going to be a ripper of a finish, ladies and gentlemen.
It's not even a 5-lapper at this point, it's going to be like a 3-lapper. You know how chaotic some of those 5-lapper open lobbies can be if you're familiar with the multiplayer scene in the F1 community. It looks like Vistify has retired from the session in the pit lane, so very, very unfortunate to see him go in his MRL debut. But yeah, this race has been just chaos from start to finish.
Fortunately, his car has actually come back on track, Mikhail, because he didn't retire quickly enough. So I'm hoping we don't keep going around trying to wait for him to catch up to the queue.
No, it should pull off to the side eventually. When that is, I don't know. But we are now on lap 29 of 33 in this race. Larkino has picked up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So
Trying to catch the back of the grid there, but I mean, he's last anyway, well, technically last, so I mean, I don't think it makes too much difference.
yeah. Looks like Vistify's car's made it all the way to turn 4, which is very, very interesting. Holt's now coming into the pit lane once again. I don't know if that's for damage or a wing change or just a fresher set of softs. We'll have a look. He's coming in now, and it looks like it's just for a fresher set of softs.
Well, look, Mikhail, let's talk. Let's talk about the big horse in the room right now, BTFU. Fresh mediums. What would you do if you're in his position right now with 3 laps to go? Once we go green flag racing, what would you do?
I would probably do what every single other driver is going to do on this grid, and that's push like crazy for the last 4 laps, which is what it looks like it's going to be, unless we go around it yet again, waiting for the 2 Alfa Romeos to catch up. But yeah, all these drivers are just going to have to push like crazy, but Rhapsody isn't going to be able to. Neither is Maxime. The front 2 on those older, harder compounder tyres compared to those around
these front 2 are hoping that we stay out for 1 more lap for sure.
Oh,
especially Maxime.
absolutely.
Obviously, Rhapsody's kind of probably a bit of iffy here and there because he does have that time penalty. But yeah, we will go around again, ladies and gentlemen. So next time by, we will be green for our sprint to the finish with 3 laps to go.
Oh my goodness. So everything that these drivers have done up to this point is basically out the window. It's just going to be a 3-lap dash to the end. And that means that there will only be 1 lap with DRS. 1 single lap with that rear wing flap to be opened if you are 1 second behind your, well, the car in front. And without the DRS, these guys are going to be relying purely on the tire advantage. And another thing that we haven't really touched on, at least in terms of the tires, is the ability to get them up to temperature on this restart, because the tire grid's going to be packed up as it already is. And at least for Rhapsody, Maxime, and BTFU, those tires are going to be a little bit more challenging to warm up and get them up to temperature quickly for that first sector of lap 31. So I don't exactly know how this is going to play out, in all honesty. These soft guys will have no issues getting those tires ready to go. But yeah, yeah. Leave your predictions.
I was just going to say, if I was BTFU right now on this second DRS straight, I would be going down into second gear and I would be doing burnouts the whole way down this back straight. Because the tyres, you don't need to worry about them, they will make it to the end. But you need to get temp in, because if you have a poor run through 15 and 16, you can lose 2 positions into turn 1. Yeah, and then if you get touched, and at least, and if you get touched through turn 1 and everything goes a bit south, I mean, you're just going to go back and back and back. So I'm hoping he's got those temperatures warmed up. At the moment on the display, I'm seeing 70 degrees rear tyres, so I'm not confident at all.
Or Rhapsody becoming the de facto safety car. We will have the rear view camera as the safety car is now into the pit lane, so it's up to Rhapsody as to when he wants to go. And it looks like he's caught Maxime napping a little bit on this race.
BTFU's gone. Becky B's all over him.
Becky B now right on the back of this AlphaTauri on the softs. It's a drag race between these two. Looks like they are very, very similar. Becky B going for the dive into the first corner. Has to counter steer to get that car back under control. BTFU holding that position for the time being, but everyone else behind them seems to have gotten away fairly cleanly. We'll jump back on board with Astrodite as he makes his way around the inside of Cappy, heading into turn number 3 and 4. Cappy coming back at the Renault.
Yamamoto tried to make a dive on Maxime, actually hit the back of him as well, so I think he might have lost a tiny little end plate there.
It's like Cappy and Astrodite still going side by side all the way through turn 6 into turn 7. Red Bull having the inside, but it becomes the outside. A little bit of wheel banging once again. It looks like Astrodite will hold on for the time being and get that move done. And it looks like Yama is now cleanly through on Maxime B. It looks like Becky and BTFU going side by side as well. BT has to back out of that one. Tom Hawk around the outside. He's got a real good run. Oh my goodness, around the outside of 13.
BTFU's getting mugged.
Oh my goodness, he's gone down to 6th place. Jay Fasai now the next driver to try and pass the AlphaTauri. But all of this fighting has played right into Rhapsody's hands. He's put a 1.7 second gap in that first lap, which at least has given him a fighting chance. Becky B now round the outside, heading into turn number 1. And he will get that move nicely done. Now the Williams driver from 20th on the grid is up into the podium places. And with this penalty, it could be looking like a Williams 1-2 at this stage.
Yeah, it does indeed. I think they are going to get a 1-2 here. I can't see Rhapsody pulling out 3 seconds on both of them, as we do have more jostling going back in the grid. C-Joss has actually got past Cappy. Cappy actually runs halfway off the track there, so that's not great for his tyres. But yeah, so, and you also got Astrodite all over the back of Sidras, because Sidras apparently is not in his car, so he's gone into AI once again. Yeah, so the Renault squad doing everything that they can. Looks like Astrodite will make that move cleanly and easily on his teammate. I don't know about easily. Okay, there we go. AI is braking a fair bit early. Oh, hang on. They actually touched. The AI touched Astrodite, and Astrodite's come back onto the track and kind of bumped his way through C-Joss here. So now they're side by side going into turn number 13. So Astrodite goes for a bit of a dive. They do touch again. They are trying to leave each other room into the very narrow turn 14. Astrodite does get the move done, does squeeze C-Joss out.
We are now on the final lap of this race. Becky B setting the fastest lap so far. DRS is now enabled for the final lap in this race. Cappy very, very close to the back of Seajoss, but Seajoss just has a little bit more straight line speed. The Red Bull driver unable to make the move stick into turns 1 and 2. But Jay very, very close to the back of BTFU as well. Oh my goodness, there's only 2 sectors to go in this race. Yama 7 tenths behind Rhapsody. Becky B 6 tenths behind Yama. And Maxime has done very well to hold on to that 4th place for the time being. We'll see what Tom Hawk is able to say about it through the fast right-hander of turn 9. Isn't quite able to do it. There's a spin. It looks like Seajoss has gone into the grass at turns 7 and 8. We'll jump up quickly with the front 3. So it looks like everyone's just sort of holding station for the time being. So Rhapsody, while he will cross the line first on track, that time penalty is going to hurt him. He will drop down into 3rd, and it will be Yama taking the race win. Becky B coming across the line in 2nd. I do believe that is a desync there. Maxime B will cross the line next. But we'll go off what the timing tower says. So Yama in 1st, Rhapsody in 2nd, Maxime B in 3rd, Becky B in 4th, Tom Hawk in 5th, BTFU in 6th place, Jay Fasai in 7th, Chiri in 8th, Max Center in 9th, and Ashadar will round off the top 10. Then we have Cedarus, Cappy, Larkino, Seajoss, and Holtz as the 11th through to 15th finishes. And then 5 drivers are unable to finish this one, which is very, very unfortunate. But Stars, just talk us through that one. What a crazy race.
Well, Macau, if I'm in a puddle of sweat, I don't know what these drives are in, because that was hot. That was an amazing race. Unbelievable. Battles left, right, and center. DNFs, unfortunately. Great racing. Unbelievable strategy towards the end there. Unlucky for BTFU. I think what happened there is the safety car came out and he was right at the pit entry and he couldn't change his tyre in time. So that's very unfortunate there. Obviously a bit of a desync. I do believe it was Yama, then Becky B and Rhapsody actually managed to get a 3-second gap over Maxime. So I'm not too sure how that's all going to play out towards the end there, but just sensational racing. Congratulations to Yama, obviously kept it clean, did what he needed to do, and got the win there.
Yeah, so Yama will take the race win here at Spain. Rhapsody in 2nd and Maxime B in 3rd according to this time. So we will look into the timing desync after the race. We'll just go off what the timing tower says. Becky B in 4th with the fastest lap, all the way from 20th on the grid. What a very strong effort from him. A great recovery drive there. Tom Hawk in 5th, BTFU in 6th, Jay Fasai in 7th, Chiri in 8th, Max Center in 9th, and Ashdite will round off the top 10. Then Seagerus, Cappy, Larkino, Seajoss, and Holtz, the last 5 finishes in this one. And then we have a Vixtify, Gauzieg, Strifium, Zamus, and Arnhel unable to finish this one. But what a crazy, crazy race, Stars. I have no words for it, honestly. Just no words at all.
It was, yeah, very, very entertaining to watch, to commentate on. That one was one of the better ones for sure. Obviously, Becky B, great drive, like you mentioned, to come back into a very, very hefty points finish. I think those safety cars helped him out a lot, and it actually has helped him in the championship as well, because at the start of the race, he wasn't going to be extending his gap over S-King at all.
No, so definitely a very, very big race from him, and definitely showing why he is worthy of championship contention. Looks like we will we'll actually have a word with him now. Drag him up into the interview room. Becky B, mate, what a crazy, crazy race from just your race. Just this whole event for you was just highs and lows, just all over the place. Just if you're able to sum it up in like a couple of sentences, please do, because that was absolutely insane.
I mean, the game definitely giveth and taketh away. Not necessarily in that order, but that was an insane race. The most fun I've had in a league race after being absolutely so disappointed after qualifying. You know, getting screwed over by the moving off the track to let people through and then getting my next lap invalidated because of that. And in practice, I was doing 14, 5s and 6s on the medium. So I felt really good going into this. Did a lot of practice, but I'm really glad it worked out for me, and I'm really glad it worked out for Yama. I'm so happy to see him on the top step today.
Yes, Yama. We'll speak to him in a few moments, but he had a great drive. Just talk us through the start of the race, because starting from the back at a track where overtaking, while we saw today, was quite possible, stereotypically has been quite difficult in the past. What were your thoughts lining up on the grid in last place on those hards?
Yeah, honestly, if we went back and listened to the VC, me, Yama, it was all positivity at the beginning of the race because I knew there was nothing I could really do after qualifying. So I was excited just to get some overtakes done, and I felt really confident with my setup and really confident on the hards. So I was excited to get some overtakes done. And I was really happy with the places I did make up, and it just sucks that the game decided to screw me over there, or tried to screw me over there. But you know, it was fun in the end.
Yeah, well, congratulations again on such a great recovery drive. Definitely showing yourself as championship, worthy material, especially with your main rival S King not being here. We're a bit worried up here in the commentary booth when we saw you in 20th place, but you definitely proved that you've got the skills to scythe your way through the field and get some very good points when you need to. So we look forward to seeing you next week in Monaco, and all
Oh
the
yeah.
best preparing for that one.
Yeah, thanks, Mick. Thanks, Stars. Have a good night, boys.
You too,
Uh,
bud.
Likewise. We'll now hear from Maxime, who had quite an unusual race. Maxime, welcome to the interview room. Just talk us through your race, especially that choice, being on those mediums at the last safety car and staying out. Your decision to stay out there. Just run us through your race, mate.
Yeah, so at the last safety car, my team told me to stay out, and I'm pretty happy I did. Um, but yeah, the race was very tough. I was held up a lot, and I really had to make overtakes happen. But yeah,
Yeah, it's a very very chaotic race from that one. So well done indeed. A good haul of points for you guys there. Unfortunate for your teammate Joss, who I do believe had run into a couple of issues throughout the race.
yeah.
But Stars, anything for Maxime this evening?
Just the one question, Maxime. Obviously, after that safety car restart, you just mentioned that the team told you to stay out. Was your mindset to push as hard as you can, or was it more kind of like a defending type role where you could just basically park the bus? How did you want to attack those last couple of laps?
Um, I wanted to defend, try to hold up the people, the drivers behind me. But after they passed me, I was just trying to push because I knew Rhapsody had the 3 second time penalty, so I could possibly get moved up more. But yeah,
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, mate, you did a great job. You got some good points for your team, so congratulations, and can't wait to see you out there again next week.
thank you.
We will now be joined by the man himself, Yama, our race winner this evening. Yama, what a performance, mate! Absolutely stellar. Just run us through that. How you're feeling right now, and a very good result for you Williams guys as well. And then I'll hand it over to Stars for the rest of the interview.
Yeah, obviously P1 and P2. I really didn't expect this good of a result this race, but yeah, I'm absolutely thrilled. I'm shaking right now. I wish you could see the emotion, but yeah, I'm really happy to get my first podium in P1.
Yeah, great work there, Becky. Obviously, that's your first win of the season. Amazing job there. Congratulations once more. Obviously, you drove a great race. I'm assuming you just drove your own race and just let everyone else do their own thing. Obviously, you had a bit of help there with the safety cars. When that safety car did come out and you did pit onto the medium compound tires, the hard compound tires, I think it was during the middle of the race there. Did you kind of think, oh, I'm in a beautiful position. This is it. I've got this in the bag?
I definitely had some doubts when the first safety car came out, but it was looking up, and I had Cody's and Brownie in my ear, So yeah, I really have to give them credit for that. They did a stellar job in the pit wall, and yeah.
Oh, sounds like you got some great people around you. And needless to say, mate, congratulations. Well done. Obviously, safety cars played into your hand a little bit today. A bit of luck, but also great racing. You showed a lot of pace on those medium compound tires in the first stint. So well done, mate. And yeah, like I said to Maxime, can't wait to see you next week.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Cheers, mate. Take care.
Well, unfortunately, that is all the time we have for this one. Stars, any closing words before we close out the stream this evening?
All I have to say is America's great division. That was sensational race. Looking forward to next week. I'll say it again. It was just sensational. So great driving there by all drivers. Thank you everyone for joining us in the in the chat there. Obviously, it was great to see your predictions and stuff like that. So thanks again for having me, Mick. And yeah, can't wait for next week.
Yeah, next week around the streets of Monte Carlo, it's going to be quite the show. Last thing from me, if you're still here, thank you for sticking around, and I hope you enjoyed that race. I just want to give a quick shout out to our partners, Next Level Racing, !NLR in the chat. They've got some great sim rigs if you're looking to take your sim racing experience to the next level. And we will be back at 8 p.m. GMT for those friends over in the UK, 3 p.m. Eastern. For those of you in the States, with Tier 2 action for our week around Barcelona. That'll be taken by Stryfium and Unicorn. But for Stars and myself, we will see you next week for the next round in the Americas Division around the streets of Monte Carlo. It should be quite a interesting race, and one that is certainly going to be one for the history books if it's anything like this Spanish one. But that's all from us here tonight. My name is Mikhail, joined by Stars, my fellow countrymen from the land down under, and we will see you next week for Monaco.
See you later, guys.